Hello everyone. I hope you're all doing well, and I'm here to explain some of my work through PowerPoint presentation. And my name is Shashankar Kadi Nanjegoda, and the details which you're seeing under my name are the details which might not be important to you, but they're all important to me as I'm a student studying here in United Kingdom. And I'm very proud to say that I'm from Karnataka, and I'm a Kannadiga. Ellarigu namaskara. And my topic was systematic literature review on electric machine coolant systems. So I presented this PowerPoint for my final year project, for my final year dissertation, and so there was three modules. One was the thesis report, one was the presentation, and the third one was the logbook presentation. So this was the second one. So the reason why I'm doing this video is that my first PowerPoint presentation got 535 views. uh, I'm very happy for it, and that motivated me to do some more. And I'm gonna give as much as information that people are wanting to know. So I'm gonna jump on to the next slide now. So these are all the contents which I have included in this PowerPoint presentation. As you can see, obviously introduction is necessary for PowerPoint presentation. I know you all agree with it. And then comes the objectives. What are you trying to say? What are you trying to explain through this PowerPoint presentation? That comes under the objectives. The methodology. How did you approach this topic? Like for me, it was systematic literature review on electric machine coolant system. How did I approach the topic? First, after to study about systematic literature review, I got to know about systematic literature review. So a literature review is something where you study all the books, all the presented authors, all the published papers about the topic called electric machine coolant systems, and you drive every conclusion out of it and put into your paper. So that is a literature review. And when it comes to a systematic ones, so there are many types of literature review: traditional ones, systematic, and normal one as well. So systematic is something where you draw out values out of each paper and put into your paper. So the methodology which you used, how you collected the paper, what keywords have you used in the paper, then how did you filter it out? For example, like if you have found like bunch of paper like 900,000, you just need 100 to 150 to make a literature review, systematic literature review. So how did you filter it out? Based on author, citations count. Those are all the things which comes under methodology. And I hope you're all reading next steps and all. And coming to practical insights, and I would say when you collected the data in methodology steps, and coming to next practical insights, it's like what have you observed in each paper, each author paper. Like every experiment is different, everyone are different, and everyone does it in a different way. I mean the things. So how did you analyze the paper? How did you extract some observations from the paper? That comes under practical insights. We'll jump on to next step: types of electric machines cooling. So this can be done easily because you just see, you just read, you just understand, and you just analyze and frame it in your paper. Types of electric machines. Anyone can tell the types of electric machines. So the different bit which I have done in this paper was the innovative cooling techniques. This is the main part which got my paper interesting, because I didn't just copy whatever they have done, like the types of electric machines, those things. I didn't just copy it, but I figured out of 150 papers, I learned which and all cooling techniques was innovative, what was outstanding. That cooling techniques I have put in my paper, and that made my paper very valuable now. And the next step is advantages and disadvantages. Obviously, whatever the topic you take, there will be advantages, there will be disadvantages. So you can list them easily, and future scopes. References will come to that bit at the end. This is this is the introduction which I have put in for coolant of electric machines. As you can see in the picture, motor gets heated very easily because it's doing some work. Anybody doing work gets stressed and their body temperature will rise. Similarly, motor is like man-made machines, and if they do work, their temperature gonna rise. And if the temperature is not taken care of, there is malfunction. There will be some kind of what shall I say? Some kind of deformation happening, negative impact on the motor. Obviously, negative impact on the human being as well. If that's not been taken care of, when you get fever and all, if that's not been taken care of, it might wear off. And so there comes the coolant system into picture. A coolant system does a main job there, and there's an example. Every car has an coolant system, so it's a basic necessity for an automobile to put a coolant system in an electric machine. These are some of the effects of overheating of motor, and what's going to happen if the motor is overheated. It will die someday because of wear and tear, because of deformation. It expands any metal. And jumping on to the next slide now. These are all some of the factors which are affecting in increasing the temperature. Load current. If the voltage current is higher than the required voltage, it's obviously gonna increase the temperature. Internal losses like eddy current loss, iron loss, copper loss, overloading. The word is just saying the meaning. If you overload something, it's gonna increase the temperature. Obviously, that's for sure. And inadequate cooling. I'm not very sure about this, but yeah, since I mentioned it, inadequate cooling, which is not sufficient. Yeah, it might be the reason because of the load current. Load current might be less. Dirt and contamination, one of the major factors, as it increases the friction of the electric machine, voltage and frequency fluctuation. You've all noticed this in your houses. When there's a fluctuation in your current, some bulbs will go off, and this might be the reason for increasing the temperature of the electric machine. Rotor imbalance, inadequate maintenance, age and wear. As you get old, you become less fertile. Now, I'm only joking. You can be more fertile at that age as well, but when it comes to electric machine, age and wear really matters at that point. We'll go on to the next slide now. Purpose of literature review. As I told before, I've studied traditional one, systematic literature review. There is purpose for each literature review. For traditional one, you just analyze the concept which they have used, which they have studied, and you put it in your own words in your literature review. For my systematic literature review, I've analyzed the concept. I've read all the processes which they have used in their process in the experiments, and I've collected their values, and I compared them with each other, and I've mentioned any trends or gaps which are missing. I've compared actually. Comparison is the main thing for the evolution of the concept. So, according to my systematic literature review, I've mentioned four purposes, which is identifying the current trends and advancement. So this current trends and advancement comes into picture when you go through comparison. When you compare two person, when you compare any two objects, you will get to know that, oh, this object is very efficient than that object. That's what we call current trends and advancement. Highlighting key challenges, obviously, for sure. What and all these challenges we have faced. What and all the challenges the author has faced, that comes into a picture. And assess geographic and industry variations. When it comes to geographic and industry variations, the place where the research has been undertaken, the place where most of the research has been undertaken, that comes to a picture. And according to my research, I would say majority, the percentage where it was higher was from my Asia continent. And yeah, the part of Asia, the research was undertaken at a very high rate. And at the end, but not the least, I would say provide recommendations about your research project, what you have done, what results have you got, what comparisons have you made, and what recommendations can you give to the future students. Objectives. My research study objectives was not only these 3 points. I've got a lot of points for my research study objectives. I've just mentioned these 3 points because these 3 points were important in the systematic literature review. So you can have a look at these 3 points, and if you need more and more objectives from my paper, I'm ready to share that paper with you, and I will tell the demand for it as well at the end. Right, I've given you enough time. I'm gonna jump to the next slide now. Right, these are all the numbers which I've got during my research study. So I've used Scopus and Web of Science as my search engines. Search engines are like Google, Facebook, Instagram. You can search anywhere. But if you're getting the papers from that website, then it's all good and fine. But I used to search through Scopus and Web of Science because I got some papers through that website. And I've used keywords like motor and stator, rotor and cooling, automatic cooling system, automotive cooling systems are used here. These are all the keywords which I've used for my study. I've just searched through Scopus and Web of Science. I've never used Google Scholar or any other website which you can recommend. And the number of papers which I've got was thousands. Actually, thousand paper research was carried out. But when I limited this search through years, I limited it through 2017. It was 560 papers. Then I filtered it out and filtered it out, and finally I got 100 papers for which I can do the research now. And I made a graph through SPSS software. SPSS software, it's a very good analytical software where you can analyze the metadata, data analysis. Everything can be done through that software easily. You don't need to worry much. So from 2017 till 2023, as you can see, there is an increase in numbers from 2017 to till 2020-21. And 2020 and 2021 are the peak years where many research was published on this topic called coolant for electric machines, and it drastically decreased from 2021 to till 2023. It might be the effect of that something has been found out at that year, something valuable has been found out in the year of 2021, so it has drastically decreased from 2021 to 2023. I'll jump on to the next slide. So based on the papers which I have collected, these are all the division which can be made, and 63% were my conference paper, 26% were my journal articles, 4% were my review articles, and 7 were others. These others added some important to my research study, because this others research was carried out in practical way at industries, at workshops, which gives real values. And yeah, can have a look at those numbers. And I've got every copy of the paper in my reference work. If someone needs information about it, you can ping me in, you can comment. The main part which gives a life for the systematic literature review, I would say it's the practical insights, what I've analyzed from each paper which you have read. So I carried out the simulation in SPS software. So when I went through the paper, it yielded me analytical results, experimental result, computational simulation result, research result, and theoretical study. You might be wondering what are these analytical, experimental, computational, theoretical. So these are all the types of experiments carried out on a model. So in mechanical engineering, when you design a model, you can carry out experiment like simulations through software. You don't need to set up a physical model for that. Just the simulation model is enough. It is it is designed so that you can save money, be efficient, and be very intelligent. So when it comes to experimental, it's literally you are setting up a model and experimenting things. What's gonna work, what's not gonna work. Like most of them have done their science exhibition in their school study. That is experimental. I've told about simulation. And theoretical, as the name says, theoretical means you just compare the data which you have collected from each research paper. And research paper is, I've studied literary research papers itself, where they have mentioned every example of it. Computational, computational analytical. These are all some of the important cause. When it comes to computational analytical data analysis, scientists have used formulas to calculate the results. And the strange part is the result which you have calculated through formulas, when compared to the experimental results, it didn't vary from 2% to 10%. That means there was no error more than 10%. The result obtained through mathematical formulas compared to the experimental data, there was no variations, and that surprised me in my literature review. So these are all the numbers for my collected data, and I'll jump on the next step. As I said, types of cooling of electric machines. This can be obtained very easily. When you go through each paper, you will understand, is it a water cooling system, air cooling systems, liquid cooling, cryogenic cooling. You just get to know when you go through each papers, and it is very easy to put in, as it's a basic thing when you're undertaking a literature review. This is the basic thing. If you don't know this thing, don't ever go for the literature review. I think this will be very helpful for master student research students who are carrying out research. And yeah, uh, according to my literature review, there were 20 to 30 different types of cooling techniques which have been across through, and I've compared each one of them because these are all the values where I've compared, and 20 to 30 distinct types. That's nothing. There might be different. You can, if you are very innovative, you can get a new coolant system for electric machines. Who knows? So these are all some of the innovative types of cooling system which I came across through. The first figure which you're seeing is that slot cooling. As you can guess, looking at the picture, there is a cool tie which is made up of silicon carbide, and in the middle of it there is a slot where mm, liquid can enter through and enter out. So silicon carbide is a good conductor of heat, and it absorbs electricity. Sorry, it absorbs heat from the surroundings. When the motor get heated up, the silicon carbide absorbs heat and it transfers the heat to the slot inside. When the coolant liquid flows through that slot, the heat will be transferred from silicon carbide to the coolant liquid due to law of, what do you call that, law of heat transfer. So the coolant liquid carries away the heat from the silicon carbide to the external outlet. So this is one of the innovative techniques which I've come across through. And the next one, I will give you 20 seconds to guess if you are very intelligent enough, and the time starts now. Right. Many of you have known it. I know. This work describes a revolutionary structure design for small electric motor used in artificial intelligence applications. So AI stands for artificial intelligent applications, which incorporates airflow based cooling techniques. So you have just read it, that this coolant system is used for artificial intelligent robots, but you don't know the working of it, right? The system, how it works. I did a study on a research paper and I was very amazed by it because I didn't know this was the coolant system they have used for the artificial intelligent robots. Since artificial intelligent robots is very small, we can't use liquid cooling for it. Any type of cooling which is larger than the robot, it will crush the robot, it will destroy it. So what they have done is they have made nodes, air inlets through stator core and the rotor core. Stator is the stationary part, rotor is the rotating part. So when it made to join across, both the part rotates, and the holes there, small holes, small pores. When it's rotating, it drives the air from the outlet to the inlet of the electric machines. So from outlet to outlet, there will be air which will be cool. When cool air is sent inlet into the electric machines, it carries away the heat generated in the electric machines because it is transferred from high temperature to the low temperature according to the law, and cool air carries away the heat from the electric machines towards the outlet. Air can be let anywhere. So this is the technique which they have used for the artificial intelligence robot. This is one of the main innovative techniques which we can adopt in the future. And these are all the picture which represent the liquid cooling system where there's a liquid inlet and a liquid outlet there, and there are just 4 points relating to this picture where efficiency is increased in electric motor. And going on to the next slide, these are some of the advantages and disadvantages which you can add based on your research project. Based on my research project, I've just added 5 points which can extend over to 20 points advantages. Coming to disadvantages, it is not just the advantages which make your project secure. Disadvantages matters as well. If there are drawbacks, then your project is it's not successful. So these are all the disadvantages which I've got, and these are the future scopes which I can recommend for the further studies. There are most future scopes in my MS Word document. If you want me to share that, you just need to follow my account and comment what you need to know about me, about my university, about this place, and any job vacancies in here, and references. Signing off, Shashankar Kelly Nanjegowda. Thank you for your time. I hope you're all doing fine and have a good day.